Oh, you want to skip to the part where you die? Fine. Lights. Camera. And action.
Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb and welcome to Answer Smash. So this is a module that what you saw on the screen there is going to be effectively smashing two answers together. But the way that the answers are actually generated are a little bit interesting. So let's have a look at the manual and let's see what we want to do here. And let's also load up a couple more examples. I just wanted to show off what would happen if you submitted a blank answer with that example there. So let's pop up. Let's do 5 more strikes just for the sake of making sure that we don't die, and we'll do 3 examples because this mod itself is very simple to do, but understanding how it works at first might be a little interesting. So I'm also going to pop up another repository on our side as well. So what we have here is on the module, we're going to have a series of different, we've got 3 different displays. We have a series of lights going around to sort of represent a game show in a way. And we've got 2 displays that we can enter in, and the one that we're going to select is, and the one that's currently selected will have a white border around it, and we can use this button over here on the side to switch between the displays. Now the way that you enter in the answer is you're actually going to use your keyboard to type in an answer. So for example, if we wanted to say free parking, that's how we would do it. We would use our actual keyboard to do that. So what we have here on the display is these answer smash that we have to give as a result with these 2 answers that we're going to be working with here. So how exactly does this work? We've taken the name of 2 items from the hit website KTANE.timwe.de or the repository of manual pages. The names have been smashed together, making the answer smash you see on the top screen, in this case Butte. We follow a set of rules here when making our answer smashes. Both names must be at least 2 characters in length. Both the names are cut off at any character. Both names are cut off at a character that they share, which I will explain what that means later. The items cannot be the same, and the items must have names with characters that can be typed on a US keyboard layout. So the goal of the answer smash is for the diffuser here to figure out the 2 items we picked to make our answer smash. However, if the diffuser finds 2 different items that would make our answer smash, that's a-okay. So effectively what this means is that there's going to be the possibility of there being multiple solutions because of the fact that there are, 2,000 mods on the repository. There's a lot to work with, over 2,000. So there is definitely going to be the possibility of there being a little bit of overlap. It's also important to note that it also will include, in this case, it will include holdables and widgets because it is specifically referring to an entry on the repo. So there's the possibility of there being, for example, modded ports as an actual answer. So just keep that in mind while you are looking for different answers. So holdables and and widgets can pop up as well, along with your regular and ED modules, of course. So let's take a look and let's see exactly what we can do. So we're going to be trying to find a case where two answers would mash up together. And I guess a good example that I want to give. So let's have a look and explain how I want to do this, because there's a lot that can happen. So for example, if we were to do, just based off of this port alone, if we were to do repotted ports effectively, what that would be is effectively a smash of reporting anomalies and modded ports. And the way that I'll explain this is like this. So in this case, we've got reporting anomalies as our first answer, and then we have modded ports. So as you can see here, the catch here is that both of these guys happen to line up when there is the O here, the repo part, and then it goes immediately into the modded ports afterwards. They both line up in this case. So therefore, that would make sense in this case. We're trying to find the letter that lines up. That they don't necessarily have to be the same length. As you can see, they are very much different lengths. But this would be something that can possibly happen. So let me see if there's maybe an easier example than this, because there's probably a lot of possibilities. Here we go. Here's a good one. Constellata cipher. So in this case, we know that this is a pretty easy one. Obviously, our answer is going to be constellations here, as one of the ones that we're working with here. But let's try and figure out the point where it lines up and where it actually goes into the different cipher here. So constellata. So constellat is the first part here. So it likely will be the fact that it lines up at the T here because of the fact that the A doesn't make sense in constellations. So we need to find something with a TA cipher, which in this case I have a pretty good idea what that one is. I believe it is magenta cipher, which would make sense. And it does indeed. So if we take a look here, so if we pop up magenta cipher, and we put them together, it'll look something like this. As you can see here, the T is the point where they meet up. And this is what the result would be if they answer smash together. So let's type this in. Let's do constellations. We're going to switch to the other display. Now, the order of the display I don't believe matters that much. So as long as they're as long as they're part of a solution that would make sense, it's fine. And then magenta cipher. So now we're going to hit the green button to submit.
Lights, camera, and action.
And just like that is a solved module. So therefore, for those of you who are curious about those voice lines, those are from the villain of the game I Expect You to Die 2, John Juniper, voiced by the lovely Will Wheaton, if I can get this back. So what's going to happen here is the lights will turn off when the submission happens. The spotlight will turn on for the camera effectively, and they will begin to smash together effectively. So that's the way how that works. It's a very cool mod that I was very happy to be part of as well. And I'm just super happy that it's getting the love and appreciation it deserves. There's also a lot of different possibilities that can happen. A lot of funny different names that you'll see along the way. So just keep that in mind. Rubivaratives. I have a pretty good idea what this one is going to be. So here's the part where we're actually going to be able to take a look at some multiple solutions here. So vatives, there's a lot that you can do with this. You can do derivatives or partial derivatives. And with Ruby, there's a lot you can do with this as well. Rubik's clock, Rubik's cube, for example, Rubik's slide. So in this case, this one's a perfect example of having multiple solutions. Now, if we actually go to the log here, and I'm going to do this for the sake of explaining in the tutorial here, let's take a look at its solution. So here we go. Rubik's slide and partial derivatives is the solution it wants. But what if we were to, for example, just do, specifically Rubik's clock and Rubik's cube, because the point that it's meeting up at, if we do, for example, if we do the example that it wants here, so Rubik's slide, and it's meeting up at, I believe, the I of derivatives. So if we were to do, for example, partial derivatives, it's meeting up at this lowercase I, because it's going from Ruby, this part here, vatives, and then it's going to the ivatives, effectively. So that's the point where they meet up. But in this case, if we wanted to swap in, for example, Rubik's cube, and if we wanted to actually do just derivatives, that would be also very much acceptable. So we can do Rubik's cube, and then we switch, and then we just do derivatives.
Lights, camera, and action.
And just like that, it is a perfectly acceptable solution in this case. So let's take a look at this last one that we skipped for the end. So it's obviously going to start with B-U-U-T, B-U-T-T. And I did have a slight glance at the log for one of the possible solutions. It can be anything with a button that it starts with a button. It has to be also, by the way, it's very important to point out, these have to be case sensitive. It's extremely important that it matches the exact repo entry on the repo. So just be very careful with this. So we want to start with buttons. That's what we want to do. We want to start with a button. It has to start with B-U-T-T in some way, shape, or form. Which in this case would either work with button grid or button inch, or button masher, for example, too, or button messer, or button order. You get the idea. There's a lot of solutions that you can do with this. So for the sake of chaos, I'm going to do button plicated wires. And now, the point that it's meeting up at could either be the BUT or the BUTT, and it's up for us to figure that out. And there is the possibility of us just getting multiple solutions. So is there a possibility Is there a possibility where it could cover B, U, T, and T, E at the end? T, T, E, perhaps? It might just be T, E at the end. So let's find another example, if we can get one here, because we're finding a lot of these letter keys and letter layers and whatnot. We specifically need to end in TTE. Perhaps it specifically is ending in TE. Let's have a look at that, because that's going to open up a lot more options for us. Literally something, logic gates. Logic gate is close. Gate would be close. If we can get some kind of gate, maybe. Restricted is close. Simple is not. Tape is not. Memory buster, no. Character meteor, meter. Missing letters, Mr. Softy. Softy is close, but there's two E's at the end. Module name, Musher the Batten, mystery module, navigation determination. Needy Hotate. Here we go. So, if we wanted to do button-plicated wires in this case, I don't know why I chose that. And if we do Needy Hotate, and we line these guys up right here, this would work perfectly. Or in this case, the other way around, rather. So if we were to line them up here, the T matches, it would then go to TE at the end. So therefore, Needy Hotate would work perfectly here. So let's hit the submit button.
Lights, camera, and action.
And just like that is a solved module. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and it's good to be back doing these couple tutorials every now and then. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this model a lot. I worked on the model for this. Thank you, eXish, for actually reaching out to me and wanting me to do the modeling for this. I worked my ass off for it, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I really, really do. I'd say this is probably one of my finest works. And eXish had a brilliant idea, and we made it brilliant together. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!